Welcome back to the What's Left podcast. My name is John here with my brother Jake and Brad, and we are going to talk a little bit about government corruption. And with all the out loud corruption going on in this administration, if you will, whatever you like to call it, the topic of government corruption has actually jumped in the NBC polling this week to a top issue, leapfrogging immigration. So it's definitely worth talking about. And I mean, it's probably because of things like, Elon Musk and the Tesla ad on the White House lawn.
You want electric vehicles, we'll give it to you when the damn things don't go far enough and they're too expensive.
I love Tesla.
We have a thing called the gasoline. We have gasoline.
I love Tesla.
They got some basic problems. They're very expensive and they don't go far. I think they want to keep you somewhere around your home. They don't want to build highways or something. They got some crazy plan.
I love Tesla.
All these crypto scams and people getting robbed by the president and his fucking cronies, shaking down an ally. Jake, you were talking earlier about the gym and how just like it's constant on Fox News. It's nothing but just them advertising for Tesla. They're like, you got to buy Tesla. You have to buy Tesla stock. You have to buy Tesla cars. You have to buy these things. And they're constantly sending fundraising emails. It's non-fucking stop. It's a constant grift. The Palestine thing is sick. You know, turning it into some kind of fucking theme park, whatever the hell they want to do. The stuff with being the mediator for Ukraine and Russia and demanding things. Like, you're the mediator. You don't get stuff. Like, this isn't about you, but making it about themselves and trying to get shit from a suffering country. It's just beyond ridiculous. So I mean, there's just so much out loud corruption. It's really just it's gross. And there's always been some corruption in government, and some of it's been espoused and some hasn't. I mean, we used to corruption used to mean like Bill Clinton got a beach under the fucking desk. You know what I mean? Like that used to be like the extent of corruption, or the occasional somebody would catch a bribe, but they would get caught and they were gone. You know what I mean? And things have changed a little bit, but I think that, just the actions of this administration are constantly working their way away from accountability for these things and making it very normal, like the government is corrupt out loud. And people don't like that. We don't like that. Nobody likes that. It's fucking cheap. It's tawdry. And it's just not who we're about. I think that people don't like this, and they shouldn't. So when it comes to them, they can be them. Fuck them. We don't want to be that. So what does the Democratic Party have to be? Now, Bernie Sanders put out a little meme this week, and it says up there, he says no billionaire funding, no more consultant-driven politics, and a multiracial, multi-generational group of people. So, we have to stop. I love the act to stop Congress from trading stocks. And I think that obviously we have to end Citizens United and get rid of super PACs. But in the absence of ending Citizens United, I think the Democrats have to take the fucking initiative and say, we are not going to fundraise on super PACs.
Musk himself can spend $270 million to help elect Trump and then become the most powerful person in government. And there are billionaires in the Democratic Party also playing a major role. Our job is to overturn this horrendous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United and to move this country to public funding of elections, one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections.
And I think that's probably, you have to give yourself some legitimacy.
It's why they have to put AOC at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't take the fucking money.
Wait.
She doesn't trade stocks. She doesn't take the fucking money. That's who they need to put at the forefront. It doesn't make sense. The Republicans can post these fake memes all they want about her net worth is something insane when that's just simply not true. Like if you just do a 2-minute Google search, you'll see that she does not have that net worth. She doesn't trade any individual stocks. She doesn't accept corporate PAC money. Like this is the politician that you want to run, and this is why systematically across the board Republicans and Democrats are not giving her a fair shake because they know that she is not a part of the fucking cabal that's getting paid to be in our fucking government positions. They know that. It's why the Democrats don't put it at the forefront because unfortunately, these old Democrats are getting paid just the same as these Republicans are. And they're all lining their pockets. And any person in our Congress that does not support the bill of no individual stock trading in Congress, get them out of Congress. It's that simple. Stop allowing these people to obtain wealth. You need to put the people at the forefront that are really for the fucking people. So easy.
So here's
And they miss.
they
They
do.
miss.
Another thought on this though. This and people are this is going to sound this is going to be unpopular at first, but you have to understand the thinking. Congress is supposed to be paid a good enough salary so that they are unimpeachable. In today's version of Congress, it means two homes. It means constant work. It is expensive as hell to be a congressman, and is why regular people cannot afford to do it. Maxwell Frost, for instance, the first Gen Z congressperson, sleeps in his office, as many of them do, when he's in DC, because he could not afford a home in DC or even an apartment. So when we talk about these things, we do need to consider that we take away the right to when we take away the right to trade stocks, when we take away the right to accept super PACs and stuff like that, we do have to treat them well. And this goes not just for Congress people, but for all public servants, because we have to really attract good people. It's the same as paying teachers good money. It's the same as paying cops good money. If you don't pay people well, you are not going to attract good people. You're going to attract Marjorie Taylor Greene. People who can afford to just do it to be Karen on TV. Like that's why we're at where we're at. You can't regular people cannot afford to dream to run for Congress because it doesn't pay unless you play dirty. And that if you see it that way and that's what you want out of Congress, then you're the wrong person for the job. So in order to keep politicians unimpeachable, part of the conversation is going to have to be salary. And we don't have to you can disagree or whatever. But I do think that's going to be important going forward too. And it's really not something we have to talk about because we're nowhere near it yet, but it is something to consider, I think. I think there is a narrative that, somehow this job is super, like, going to set you up for life. And honestly, if you do a couple, like, you get voted in to Congress and then voted out, it's kind of like being an NFL football player for a year. Did you make good money? Yes. Had you better fucking make sure that you save and do whatever? Yes. And the demands of the Washington D.C. job are a lot. I mean, I'm privileged enough to have laid on my back for 3 years in prison and been able to watch a lot of C-SPAN. I do know that these people do actually do a lot of work. They do spend a lot of time in and out of the office. It is worth paying them. It's just a thought that goes into this. Anyway.
I didn't know anything about it.
No?
I didn't know that it was like so hard to run for Congress, to be honest. I mean, I guess I assumed, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's just so expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy expensive.
Just to even market yourself. I guess maybe it could be easier now, like with the grassroots stuff with social media and that kind of thing, but it's still going to be costly no matter what.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if we go back, and this Citizens United thing is newish. If we go back to funding elections the way that they were before, there would be limits on these things. And that's something that we need to do. So the second part about what I want to talk about with Democrats is this. We don't take the argument to anybody. Chuck Schumer proved that by being as spineless as humanly possible, backing down from the debt ceiling, misunderstanding the assignment entirely. It is time that we find people, not just that will fight, but like part of politics is grandstanding. Part of politics is inspiring people and is fighting. There is nothing that he can say to convince me, and nothing that I have heard that has convinced me, and there's nobody who I respect who is convinced that Chuck Schumer did the right thing. No one. Not to mention the other 10 idiots or 9 idiots who voted with him.
9 idiots, right?
Right. It was a complete and utter. It was hard. It was the worst I felt since November 5th of last year. It was it just made me feel, and we went into recording last week thinking that, having been promised that they were going to fight it, and then finish it and have that drained out of me. I am fucking livid. Chuck Schumer, resign today. Yesterday. Want your resignation on our desk. You work for us. We asked you to do something. You failed to do it. And by us, I mean the majority of the people who vote for your party. Represented in the Congress, every member but one told you no. Out of the 40-some members in your Senate caucus, 30 plus of them said no. And 9 of them said yes. You failed to do the basic job of representing people. Representing people doesn't mean you act like fucking Donald Trump and just do what the fuck you want anyway. You do what the people ask you to do, whether you think it's right or fucking not, especially when you know that both options are equally ridiculous. None of this stuff is stoppable. We know you're in the minority. They're going to do it anyway. They're going to fucking do it. There is no stopping it. There's no saving it. Do the right fucking thing. Spineless. We back down from every argument. And it's people like this that are in charge that try to rein in people who do try to make the arguments. And it just has to stop. And it has to stop immediately.
I agree. We cannot. We have to stand for the people. The Democrats don't. They don't understand that it is not good for them right now. They're not delivering a message.
Nope. And they are getting hammered as well in some of these town halls. They're going out. They thought maybe they would get like a friendly reception, maybe.
No.
But they are getting an equally. They're like, okay, so thanks for showing up. Now fucking do something.
Right.
That's great. I think that's what they need. They need to hear it. They need to hear it. So I'm glad that they're doing it. And I'm glad that they agreed to do it before they realized that they might get hammered. AOC knew it. She said it. She said sometimes you go into these things and you have to answer for shit. And they are.
And they have to. Because
Yes,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
If you're no longer for the people, then get out of the way.
Get the fuck out of the way. This is
We got
not
stuff we need to do.
Yep. 1,000%. 1,000%. And you know, we talked about this before. Jake, you made the argument before, like you didn't hear about your community during the campaign. You didn't hear about a lot of things. Backed away from almost every argument. Play the video of Andy Bashir.
Kentucky and the rest of the United States cannot possibly reach its full potential unless our people feel supported to be themselves. Discrimination against our LGBTQ plus community is unacceptable. It holds us back, and in my Kentucky accent, it ain't right. It's not about Democrat or Republican. It's not about politics at all for me. It's living my faith that says every child is a child of God, deserving of dignity and respect. It's my belief that it's our job to lift everyone up and not tear anyone down. The politics of fear and hate are wrong. The politics of compassion and love are right. So I know a lot of people are scared right now about what the president is going to do next, and your rights being in danger. To our LGBTQ Kentuckians, we're here for you, we see you, we love you, and we support you.
That's how easy it is. There is no argument that we can't make. Not one. But we don't make the argument. It's not that we just don't try. There's no counter message ever. We allow them to take the narrative. And that's just not acceptable. Tim Walz is out there doing it.
When your entire message is just anti-Trump
Mhm.
and you don't stand for anything other than just anti-Trump,
Yeah.
then you don't have a message. You're not speaking to your people. You're just speaking against the other people, and that's not going to attract people. I want to vote blue. I
Yes.
want to. You don't
Yes.
have to like. You need to get the people. Like all these regular people
Mhm.
voted for Donald Trump because he preached to those fucking people. I'm gonna save you. We knew that he was lying, but he easily manipulated them because he started from the very beginning. So if you want to take these people back, you need to act like you're actually for the fucking people. Go
Mhm.
stand in there and every single one of you vote against it because it's not what the people want. It's not good for the people. And that's your message when you come out of there saying, yes, we voted for a government shutdown because this is not good for the people. This is not good for the everyday American. That's what they needed to do, but they didn't. Because Chuck Schumer's a pussy.
Yeah. 1,000%. 1,000%. And I mean, in a way, like most of them are. And, you know, it's not just so that's the argument for the base. Let me add to this. I talked a little bit, I believe it was last week or the week before, about the fact that half the country doesn't vote, right? Now, every ex Republican pundit will tell you on the bulwark that there is no Republican Party. These people are not coming back. They're deeply red pilled. 77 million people will vote for Donald Trump for 6 terms, long after he's dead. And there is nothing that's going to change their minds. We are not after them. So quit trying to go after them. I'm talking to you, Gavin Newsom. The uh, and that's all the oxygen we will give him. Nothing else. The uh, the part that doesn't vote, they need to know that you aren't Trump. So just saying Trump is bad is not good enough. It is not good enough. They don't believe that there is a difference between parties somehow. You have a man goose stepping and swasticking and fucking out here hawking cars on the parking out of the parking lot of the White House, and somehow people don't see the difference between you and them. If you don't see that as a problem, like get the fuck out of the way. I mean, that just might be the theme. Get on board or get the fuck out of the way. It's amazing to me that people don't see the fucking difference. We are, I mean, both administrations should have just ran from Benjamin Netanyahu, the war criminal that he is. Both administrations have not because of Israel or whatever. But there was clearly different messages that could have been brought. If you had simply just talked about Palestine in any way, made any argument whatsoever, you could have put some people's minds at ease. At least let them know that you hear them. Stupidest thing Kamala did was kick them out.
Yep.
Bernie handles them beautifully. But that's because he has fucking convictions. That's because he's not afraid to say, you're right. We're not sending weapons, any more weapons. I'm not gonna vote to send any more weapons to Israel to bomb children. It's not that difficult.
It's not.
It's not. And if you can't go that far, which you should be able to, you could at least say that we are going to condition weapons to Israel until he stops, until he lets aid in, until he feeds these kids and lets the hospitals stand. It's there was so much real estate there, so much, and we refused to take even a blade of grass. It's crazy. There was so much of an argument to make, and we made none of it. You know, you could have. The social libertarian thing is good too. Just fucking leave people alone. It's weird. It's weird. That was a good
It
argument.
is.
And it disappeared.
It's so fast, man.
Yeah. It's strange as fuck. Like y'all need to like just leave people the hell alone. I don't know. That's just crazy. So that's what we want to see out of the Democratic politicians. I do want to say that I see it coming together a little bit. The It's just, it needs work. It needs work. We are going to forge something out of this, though.
Great news. I introduced a bold anti-corruption agenda in Congress today. First, ban members of Congress from becoming lobbyists. Second, ban all PAC and lobbyist money. Third, ban members of Congress from trading stock. Fourth, term limits for members of Congress and senators. Fifth, term limits for Supreme Court justices. The American people are fed up. Enough with the corruption.
There's going to be something new. The old politics are gone. There's no more Republicans. And to be honest with you, there will be no more Democrats. Like, I don't think that the Democratic Party is going to continue to exist the way that it has either.
Definitely not.
I would say more broadly for the political junkies that the era of neoliberalism is gone. And it's been replaced with a populism. It's going to be a fight for the soul of populism. And that's what we're here for. The left has the better answers on that too. The left has always been about populism. The right has always been about manipulation of the populace. So it's manipulation versus policy, and we have to be able to make these arguments. Have to be able to make these arguments, and we cannot stop making them. You know, you can't just let them fucking have all the oxygen and then just like, I don't feel like fighting that. Well, that's ridiculous. Nobody will believe it. No. Instead of treating the cats and dogs, make a better argument than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing is too ridiculous. You have got to defend your positions.
I have always said that we need to be emphasizing the economic issues, but I don't think we should run away for standing up for trans rights, for standing up for equal rights for people, for teaching American history responsibly.
It is crucial at this point in time because even your supporters are losing faith in you.
Right. It is not granted that people are going to use their own critical thinking. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be there. We want to talk a little bit about Elon Musk and crying and all that, so you can get your pegging in.
I fully believe that he got pegged at one point.
I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I'm not here to kink shame.
No.
Me either. But it's just not good for his image.
Right.
That's true. It is wild to me that man's the image of masculinity or whatever the fuck he is.
It's the image of a melting pile of cheese. He's not the shape of anything.
It's just so weird to me that these like blue collar dudes are like, fuck yeah, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Fuck yeah, dude. Those are my guys. What are you talking about?
You know, and if your coworkers start to think you're racist, Randy, that's because that's the only thing they can find in common between you two. Like, that's the problem, you know?
I don't get it. They defend. I don't get it. Like, in this pivotal time where the Republican Party is no more and the Democratic Party is obviously going to be reformed to make themselves attractive, why aren't we driving home that it is not the people versus the people? It is us versus the wealthiest people. That's what it is.
Yes.
All across the board, I don't care. It is us versus the wealthy. And that is, I just don't understand how these fucking poor people, maybe you're not poor, maybe you're wealthier than I am, but you're still closer to being homeless than you are to being a billionaire. I don't care what kind of money you have.
Sure.
And why do these people vehemently defend these fucking billionaires? Why?
Yeah.
Why? We should make them answer for every atrocity that they have done. Why are you billionaires?
Every atrocity.
Why does the Walton family have billions of dollars, but their employees are on fucking welfare?
Yeah.
Why is this a thing?
That is the equivalent of Walmart taking welfare to pay their employees. Oh.
Right. I just don't, and like nobody, like, why are we defending these fucking billionaires?
You know why? And this is in the book Poverty by Matthew Desmond. So it's not an original idea. He's a great guy. You should also watch his interview with Jon Stewart, which was great and short. and summarizes everything. But it's because, in general, we are comfortable with it. We benefit from it. In general, we go to Walmart, we see low prices, we don't ask too many questions. And that's the real problem. It's like, yeah, but you know what? And it's, I mean, then that's what, I mean, that is what privilege is. And the thing is like, we are preventing ourselves from being better by accepting what we've been given. You know, we are good enough for ourselves. And the problem is the only way to convince people to do it is to convince them that their neighbor should do better. Not that they should do better, but that their neighbor should do better. And until they start letting their neighbor do better, they can't do better. But you have to convince them of that. But that's the way that it works. That's the way that it works. You know, that's how a society functions. That's how a market functions. That is how an economy functions. So that's the challenge. Trying to convince people, and it's about solidarity, and it's about picking people up. And it's about getting out there and making arguments that make sense to the people who do not vote, are not engaged. Give them stuff, man. People love stuff, you know?
Yep.